He was walking alone on a quiet street when he first heard it, a soft whisper calling his name. At first he thought he was imagining things. The street was empty, the night calm, yet the voice was clear, almost familiar. His heart raced as he looked around, trying to find the source. Every shadow seemed to move, every sound amplified. He felt a strange pull, curiosity mixed with unease. Who was calling him? What did they want? He had no idea that this single moment, this small whisper in the darkness, would set off a chain of events that would completely change his life forever. He had always considered himself a practical man, grounded in reality. Life had taught him to rely on logic and expect little from surprises. Yet that evening, something unusual awaited him. Walking home through a quiet, dimly lit street, he noticed a woman sitting on a park bench. She was wrapped in a simple shawl, her face partly hidden, yet her posture radiated a quiet dignity. Something about her drew him closer. Not fear, not curiosity, but an inexplicable pull, almost magnetic. "Are you okay?" he asked, unsure why he felt compelled to speak. She looked up, her eyes meeting his for the first time. A faint smile crossed her lips, and then came the whisper. His name. Shock washed over him. She knew him, but he had never seen her before. He offered her assistance, gently asking if she needed help. She shook her head subtly, yet her eyes conveyed a story he could not understand. Over the next few minutes, small conversations revealed more about her than words could express. There was a depth in her gaze, a mixture of humility and unspoken strength. He thought he was helping a stranger, someone vulnerable, little realizing that this encounter would challenge everything he believed about kindness, trust, and destiny. Even as he walked away that night, he could not stop thinking about her. Why had she whispered his name? Why did she appear at that exact moment? Little did he know, this first encounter was only the beginning of a journey that would transform both their lives in ways neither could have imagined. Every step he took after that seemed charged with anticipation, as if destiny itself had set these events into motion. And though he could not see it yet, the whisper he heard would echo through his life forever, shaping every choice and every connection that followed. Over the next few days, he found himself thinking constantly about the mysterious woman. She seemed to appear in the most unexpected places, always whispering his name softly, never revealing too much. Every encounter left him both curious and unsettled. There was something about her presence, quiet, composed, yet powerful in its subtlety, that drew him closer. He noticed the way her eyes reflected kindness, how her faint smile could light up even the dullest moments, and how her actions, small as they seemed, carried intention and thoughtfulness. Each time he helped her, offering guidance, carrying small items, or simply listening, he felt a strange sense of fulfillment. She never asked for anything, never expected repayment. Yet every act of kindness seemed to ripple in ways he could not fully understand. It was as though she was observing him, not for judgment, but to see the character behind his actions. Slowly he realized that this was more than a chance encounter. Every whisper, every glance, every moment shared was teaching him something deeper about patience, humility, and the true meaning of generosity. Even at night he would replay their brief interactions, analyzing every word, every subtle gesture. Questions filled his mind. Why did she appear at those precise moments? How did she know him without ever meeting him before? Despite the mystery, he felt drawn to her, compelled by a force he could neither explain nor resist. Each meeting strengthened a bond that was unspoken, yet undeniable. By the end of the week, he began to understand that this woman, seemingly ordinary at first glance, held a significance far beyond what he had imagined. Something extraordinary was unfolding, quietly and deliberately, preparing him for a revelation that would change his life forever. And though he could not yet see the full picture, the whisper of his name had already started to reshape his world, nudging him toward choices, actions, and experiences that would define the course of his future. The turning point came sooner than he could have imagined. One morning he faced a sudden personal crisis, an unexpected loss at work that left him feeling helpless and uncertain about the future. His mind raced and fear threatened to take over. And then, as if guided by fate, she appeared. The same mysterious woman who had haunted his thoughts for days now stood before him, calm, composed, and unwavering. "You are stronger than you think," she said softly, her voice carrying reassurance he had not realized he needed. He felt a strange mix of relief and disbelief. How could she appear at that exact moment? How did she know? Slowly, he began to understand. The woman he had assumed was ordinary, perhaps even in need of his help, was extraordinary in ways he could never have imagined. Her quiet demeanor, her subtle presence, her gentle guidance, everything was deliberate, calculated, yet kind. She had been observing him, testing him, measuring the depth of his character and the sincerity of his actions. As he reflected, it became clear that the small gestures he had offered, helping her with simple tasks, showing kindness without expectation, had not gone unnoticed. And now, in his moment of need, she extended support that went far beyond what he could have ever imagined. She was wealthy, influential, and powerful, yet she had chosen to approach him as a stranger, revealing nothing, allowing him to show the true nature of his heart. It was a revelation that left him both humbled and awestruck. Everything he had believed about chance encounters, kindness, and destiny shifted in that instant. The world he thought he understood suddenly seemed larger, more mysterious, and infinitely more beautiful. And he realized, with a mix of gratitude and astonishment, that life has a way of rewarding those who act with genuine hearts, often in ways that defy logic, expectation, and imagination. With her support, his life began to shift in ways he had never imagined. Doors that once seemed permanently closed now opened effortlessly. Opportunities appeared as if by magic, but it wasn't just material change that he experienced. It was personal growth, emotional resilience, and a deeper understanding of human connection. Each lesson, each challenge, and each unexpected act of kindness from her reshaped the way he viewed the world and himself. He began to realize that life's most profound rewards often come disguised as ordinary moments, subtle gestures, or whispered words. The woman, who had seemed ordinary at first, now revealed herself as a symbol of hope, guidance, and inspiration. Yet she did not flaunt her power or wealth. Instead, she continued to act with humility, allowing him to grow, to learn, and to discover the strength within himself. The lessons were not easy. He faced doubts, fears, and moments when giving up seemed like the simplest option. But she was always there in small, quiet ways, encouraging without pressure, guiding without judgment. Through her, he understood the true value of kindness, patience, and selflessness. Every small act he had performed for her, every gesture made without expectation, had returned to him multiplied in lessons, opportunities, and trust. It was during one ordinary afternoon, as he reflected on the journey so far, that the full weight of the revelation hit him. The woman he had helped, the one who had whispered his name, was no longer a stranger or a mystery. She was a catalyst for transformation, a living reminder that life rewards those who act with integrity and heart. And in that moment he realized that the world, vast and unpredictable as it seemed, could be navigated with courage, kindness, and an unwavering belief in the power of genuine connections. From that day on, he carried her lessons with him, not as obligations but as guiding principles. The ordinary street where they first met now seemed like a sacred space, a starting point for a story that had forever changed the course of his life. Finally, he understood that life has a way of rewarding those with genuine hearts. The whisper that had first startled him was never random. It was a call, a subtle nudge from fate, guiding him toward experiences that would test his patience, courage, and compassion. The woman who had seemed ordinary, fragile even, was in truth extraordinary, a force that had quietly reshaped his understanding of trust, kindness, and the unexpected ways life unfolds. In the days that followed, he faced new challenges, each one harder than the last. Yet he met them with confidence, guided by the lessons she had taught him, not with words, but with actions, whispers, and silent observation. Whenever he felt doubt creeping in, he remembered her presence, the way she had appeared at precise moments, and the quiet strength in her eyes that demanded he rise above fear. He realized that true transformation comes not from wealth, recognition, or power, but from understanding the value of small gestures, sincere intentions, and acts performed without expectation. The woman had shown him that even the simplest acts of kindness could ripple through life in unimaginable ways, changing destinies, forming bonds, and revealing hidden truths. And then, one evening, as he walked the familiar streets where they had first met, he saw her again. She smiled, whispered his name, and vanished into the distance as mysteriously as she had appeared. In that moment he understood fully. The journey, the encounters, the whispers. They had all been part of a greater design. His world had indeed changed forever, not because of wealth or opportunity, but because he had dared to act with a true heart, to give without expectation, and to trust in the unseen currents of fate. He carried the memory of her whisper and the lessons learned with him always, knowing that life in its quiet, unexpected ways rewards those who live with integrity, compassion, and courage. And as he continued his journey, he smiled, ready for whatever the world had in store, forever changed by the whisper that had called him toward his destiny.